There is a dark side of dating that people don't know. If a man is paying for A, B, C, D, there's a lot of men that expect things back.
Nothing comes for free. Yeah, for sure.
Being single brings a lot of comfort, peace,
Freedom.
Sure. But I think the body will always yearn.
It says in the Bible, a wife obeys her husband and the wife submits her husband. So if we're talking the West, how many women are going, yeah, I will obey my husband? Even just saying that will make women recoil.
Again, we're from African backgrounds. Is that acceptable?
If I didn't want to have kids, I don't think I'd ever be in a relationship again.
So everything you're doing is just because you want kids?
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we love to talk about all things dating, relationships, and see what we can do to attract the kind of person and relationship we want. So without further ado, please welcome Yolanda to the show.
Hey!
Yolanda, welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you for the warm welcome.
No, always. How are you today?
Do you know what? I'm alive.
Amen.
I'm alive. So
Honestly,
that's all I can ask for.
Amen, girl. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and
Thank you for having me
your
on.
vibe with us today. I love to jump straight in. Okay, so first tell us your age or your age range, asking a lady her age.
Ooh.
And one thing a guy should know about you if he was going to take you on a date.
Okay, so I'm 28 years of age.
Okay.
And one thing a guy should know if they're taking me on a date is probably that I bring the questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bring the questions, like the hot questions. So you have to be prepared.
Okay, so we say you're there for a reason. What's that reason?
Intention. So looking for someone who also wants marriage, kids, you know, the long haul.
Yeah. So we say you come up with the questions. Are we talking like it's a bit of an interview?
No, it's not, because that's what I like do not want to do. Obviously, you want to make it feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But I think it's just more so the questions that I need to know whether this person's sort of suited to me. So they're like intentional questions, I would say.
Okay. What kind of, give us a few. What kind of questions you ask?
I always ask what, that's a good question. I always ask how people handle stress or conflict. Like, obviously
This is on the first date?
Yep. And
Interesting.
I'm always like, obviously we go on the date, we chill, we speak, we're comfortable. And then on a first date, I'll be like, oh, okay, like how do you like deal with really stressful situations? Like how do you handle it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like on a first date, if I was asked that, I would answer.
Thing is, I hear you.
Mm.
Do you not think that sometimes some people think they handle stress a certain way and they actually don't?
This is true. I feel like, yeah, that's true. But I also think like what I'm looking for is like how they cope with stress. Like if it's like, oh, I lean on the people around me, to me that signifies that they've got a good relationship with their circle, etc.
I hear you.
Or it's like I remove myself from the situation, I walk away and I'm like, oh, okay, but where are you going to? You
Sure.
know?
I guess it can be contextual.
Yeah.
Because it depends on what or who is causing the stress, so to speak. No, I hear that. I think if I get about wanting to really know
someone
these questions straight out of the gate. Have you always been like that? Or is this something that you've incorporated more recently?
It's always been me. Like,
so even when you're 18, you're like,
yeah,
tell me how you handle your stress, big boy.
yeah. The thing about me is I'm such
okay.
a laughy, goofy person.
Yeah.
Like, I'll ask you the question without it being that direct. It'll be so hidden that you'll probably be like, oh, wow, like I didn't really expect that question.
So how would you ask it?
It's hard. Like I have to match the energy of the person, if that makes sense. Like,
right.
It's probably my therapy head. I'll make them so comfortable. They'll be like, oh, like I didn't even expect that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say like how I would ask the question without
context.
Yeah,
I understand that. So you probably flow with it, level of, her command of the English language, so to speak.
Yeah.
And you said you're a therapist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My background.
Have you mainly worked with men or women in your practice?
Both.
Okay. And what percentage of people come in because they're trying to elevate their love lives or they feel like things are impacting them that's preventing them having the kind of person relationship they want?
For me, because I work in sort of the mental health space,
okay.
People usually come in with a range of stresses, and one of them being relationships at times, like a breakdown in marriages, etc.
Yeah.
But because it's not like my realm is not just relationships and dating. It's mental health, life, how
Of
it's
course.
quite a big realm.
Yeah.
So yeah, but a lot of people come in. I guess for me, what's the question again? Sorry,
Well, I was
I'm
just curious.
googling.
I guess, do you, with people in your practice, your experience, have you noticed, let's say, when it comes to the love and relationship side of people's lives, is there something that you've seen men struggle with more than women? Is it something you've seen struggle more on the women's side comparison to with men? Like, what's been your experience?
Yeah, I always find that men struggle to empathize and
Mm.
sympathize. Generalized statement there.
Yeah.
But I've really done a lot of work with men in terms of like, how do you think that feels for that person?
Sure.
Trying to almost step into the partner's shoes.
Okay.
I think a lot of women come to me and say, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. But I think I'm trying to, though, especially with the ladies that I'm working with at the minute, it's trying to twist the perspective to look at like, why is he not doing that? If that makes sense.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of both empathizing with each other, being like, well, can you understand how you doing this makes her feel?
Yeah.
Makes you understand maybe he's not doing this because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. It's almost like people don't understand that if someone's not doing something, there's usually reason behind that. And it's about finding out what the reason is first before jumping to the conclusion that he doesn't like me anymore or he doesn't love me. It's about actually breaking it down.
Yes.
And asking ourselves, okay, what's happened? Okay. Have you spoke to him about it? Like, you know, going down that realm.
Interesting. The thing you said about empathy, I think it's really common where, especially if someone's felt like a lot of pressure in their lives to have empathy for others, especially if they consider those others, if they have an easier time, quote unquote, do you think that plays in part in relationships?
Do you know what? I would actually pull it all the way back in terms of like what someone's childhood was. As children, we are taught to empathize quite young, quite early on in our lives. And often parents will say, how do you think, let's say, I don't know, you've hurt your brother or sister. How do you think your brother feels? How do you think your sister feels? If people weren't given that guidance when they were young and they've just continued throughout life, how do you expect them to understand certain things? You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes especially in relationships and dating, I know people don't like to hear this, but you have to teach your partner certain things. I know people don't like it.
Yeah, it depends what it is.
Yeah, and often people say, oh, you should know that. He should know that. But a lot of people weren't taught empathy as, you know, when you're growing up.
Yeah.
And I think people take it for granted. Like if you lived in a healthy home and your parents really taught you life skills and emotional intelligence, etc., and they nurtured you in a really nice, lovely, bubbly way, you're set up for life, aren't you? But if you're not, and you're, for a lot of some of the people that come into me and they lived in single parent households where mum was working all the time, mum never taught me this, how can we now expect that person to empathize with you if they weren't taught?
I hear that. I definitely think that can play a part. I do think that sometimes when I say people's experiences where they just choose not to, and the reason I say that, the example I'll give is, I think it's very difficult for, if we're talking historically, I think it'd be very difficult for like a Black woman to empathize with a young white guy who's just graduated, who's struggling to find a job. Because she's like, okay, it's not that she can't empathize, but she's like, in terms of experience, I struggle to have empathy for you because actually there are things that you have going for you that I don't, but yeah, I'm working my ass off just to get in the room like you are. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I think sometimes that can happen. Like, you know, I've heard women say in regards to guys, they might be like, well, you know, I have to put on all this makeup. I have to make sure I look good and everything like that. You just put on some, you know, trousers and maybe a nice fitted shirt. I want you to pay for the date because you need to empathize with the effort I've made to show up looking nice. Do you know what I mean? So I do think some of it definitely can be our upbringing, but I think some of it can be very situational where people, because you can choose to have empathy or not.
Yeah, and it's
based on your
context, isn't it? It
values.
depends what we're talking about. Especially
Yeah.
there, you're talking about race and different. That's a
Sure.
different realm.
Yeah.
And I think again, a different argument there.
Where do you think men need to have more empathy when it comes to dating relationships, when it comes to women that you think
Ooh.
they maybe lack?
I think there's a real lack of awareness around women's hormones and cycles and how we biologically function. There's 1 week in a month where we are, I call
Crazy, yes. Crazy.
No, normal.
I'm joking.
Like literally, there's 1 week. And I love that week for me.
Wait, 1 week when you're normal?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In a month.
Right.
So there's different stages of obviously the hormone cycle.
Yes.
I think I would love if we understood each other's biological cycles a bit better, in the sense of like, especially like if you're having an argument on a certain week because your girlfriend is literally due on her period tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's a bit of understanding, like, okay, she is a bit on the edge. Maybe I need to not have this conversation with her right now and leave it till things are more level.
Yeah.
But I think often, again, generalized statement, sorry, but a lot of men will say, oh, she's really bipolar. She's crazy. She's psycho. She's all using all these horrible terminology and names that I really, really dislike.
Yeah.
And it's like, actually, if you understood what our bodies are going through, you'd understand like that it's not us, it's not our true self, it's just the hormone that's being released at that time.
I hear you. That's completely fair. From the male's perspective, while we can understand that, I think where we struggle to make sense of it is because she doesn't act that way at work. But when her job is on the line, right, she knows how to have that emotional regulation because there's something that she perceives. I know if I don't act in a certain way at work, or if I act irrational, if I lash out, I know I'm going to get in trouble for it. And so while I completely hear that and I empathize with that, and that's completely valid, and I've had this conversation with my girlfriends too, I think where a lot of guys struggle is they go, well, you won't be disrespectful or irrational to your boss, but yeah, you bring it to me and you're using your hormones as a reason. Whereas logically it goes, well, if that was the complete reason and you're just unable to, or if it was infecting you that much, not saying it doesn't, why does it not show up in the workplace to the same degree that it shows up in the home?
There's two things there.
Go for it. One
being masking. Like, I feel like as women, we have to mask. Like, at the end of the day, I like, your job and employment is giving you money. You have to hold it together. There's periods of the month where I'm on my period, I'm thinking, I really hate everyone in this building right now, but I know that I've got bills to pay.
Valid.
I've got bills to pay. I need to go in there, just hold my pain together, hold it together, just to make it through. And it's masking in a nutshell. And there's also the thing of like, a boss and you, totally different people. I don't think you can compare. You can't compare the two. One's giving you a lot of money to pay your bills. The other person is like my safe space.
I mean, one would replace you tomorrow. The other one would die for you.
Fair. But I also think... So
why do you not have a higher standard for that one?
But I also think there's something there, like, although we're looking at it from such a negative way, your partner expressing to you and venting to you is a really healthy sign. Like, you're saying that's my safe space. I feel like I can be my true self around you to be able to vent and let out my issues to you.
I think that's beautiful. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that shouldn't just be when she's hormonal. I think that's a beautiful space for the relationship.
Yeah.
I think, and I guess this is what I'm referring to, I guess, because what guys are hearing, and it's completely valid what you're saying, but what guys are hearing is saying that, so you'll make an effort to emotionally regulate yourself, have that level of awareness in terms of how you are, to show respect and positivity for your boss at work, but you won't do this for the man who's potentially going to spend the rest of your life with you.
It's not that we're not doing it for you guys. We're just saying that, like, we feel safe around you to have those discussions. Does that make sense? Like, to my boss, I'm not going to scream at my boss and tell him, like, because I'll lose my job.
But you shouldn't scream at your man either.
It's not about screaming. It's just about expressing.
I know. So what I'm saying is the expressing is fine.
Yeah.
But I think we should still make an effort to show up as our best selves for our relationship.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I think there's something there about us holding it together better.
Yeah.
But I think biologically, when the odds are against you, it's very hard.
I hear you. The other thing, yeah, go on.
Because have you, especially when a woman's pregnant, oh my gosh. I fear for everyone whose partner's pregnant in the heat.
Yeah,
because again, you can't control anything. You know, the most tiniest thing can make you cry, can make you.
That's fine though.
How is it fine when she's fine. Now pregnant and like?
But if she's a bit emotionally sensitive,
yeah,
that's fine. We were like, baby, come here, we'll take care of. That's fine. We're just talking about when it seems like emotionally lashing out, and not every woman does this.
Yeah,
but I think what guys can experience is she will emotionally lash out and then she uses her hormones as an excuse.
Okay.
And it's like, fine. Realistically, when your job's in line, you wouldn't do that.
Fine.
Why do you not consider your relationship the same way? Because what they don't realize is that happens enough times, a guy starts to think, I can't be with this woman.
Fine. I think that's true. I think a lot of people do use it as an excuse. But I also think there's a lot of people out there that have underlying mental health. There's other stuff that hasn't been addressed there too.
That's fair.
I think it's about stripping it all back and being like, actually, is it my hormones or am I anxious? Trying to slip it back, like what is happening? I think, okay, I don't agree with people using it as an excuse.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that.
And I mean,
it's just an understanding, like hear us out, like we apologize. I apologize on behalf of all the women out there because what can we do?
No, I hear that because, you know, there have been times with my girlfriend, she'd be like, look, I was just the week before my period, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, that's fine, you know? And I do think it's important as men to give women grace in that sense. I think there's just a line. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a line.
Can I ask, like, especially from a man's perspective, like, what's the support that you give to your girlfriend, wife, partner during the menstrual cycle?
Stay away from me. It's just joking. She's gonna hate me.
Like, do you know how to support your girlfriend during?
Well, every woman is different.
Yeah.
So it's really, if she's being very emotionally expressive, then it's just allowing her the space because sometimes she just needs to be heard.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
I mean, continue to show up as a great partner. Why is there something specific a man should do like 1 week of the month? No, in your opinion?
Not 1 week. I just think it's also understanding that she's going to be in a great deal of pain. Does that make sense?
Sure.
And I think it's also like showing the initiative, like, babe, is there anything that I can do for you that will make it easier?
But I think you do that as a partner anyway.
Yes.
Like if someone's in pain regardless, doesn't need to be the time of the month. It could be because they've had a long day or they've had some bad news. But like, what do you know, be like, okay, babe, we're going to do this to make you feel better.
That's you.
Well, I think that's standard for both people. And
you'd like to think that, but what I've seen and heard is that's not happening.
That's absolutely fair. I guess what I'm saying is like, if this is the baseline and if either person falls below the baseline, being a good partner is being like, hey, let's do this to help lift you up.
Yeah.
Whether that's because it's the time of the month, whether it's because she's had a really bad day, whether it's because he got some really bad news, she should be doing that as well. So I think in terms of knowing how to be a support, and you feel free, you tell me what you think. But I think if someone's below baseline for whatever reason, being a supportive partner is kind of what both people should be, as opposed to, okay, I'm only going to be supportive or give this support around because she's on her monthly period, monthly cycle. Or like, she's like, well, he doesn't have his hormonal monthly cycle. So, I'm not going to support him when he's below baseline.
Yeah, it's just as I call bare minimum, just helping your partner. But like, I've always wanted to know, just from my, obviously I know from a work perspective, but
Yeah.
like when men shut down,
Yeah.
let's talk about like, he's going through something. We are on shutdown. He's not speaking to me. He's not, I'm trying, babe, can I help? How can I help you? He's now like not speaking
Just
to me.
emotion. He's not expressing how he's feeling.
How do we as women help you guys, especially when you're struggling with like life, I guess, and to be there for you guys and support you?
Yeah, really good question. So two things. This is a generalization. You probably know better than me, but I'm going for what I've seen and observed. I think men and women tend to handle their emotions differently, typically. I think when a woman's going through an emotionally hard time, she will go to her people, her girlfriends, close people and family, be like, this is how I'm feeling. We're going to sort this out together, right? Guys tend to retreat because we want to understand what we're feeling, understand why we're feeling that way, then we feel confident enough to express it. Because if we feel we haven't figured that out for ourselves, it's like, well, I don't know what to tell you, right? The second thing, and this is down to, if I'm being honest, down to the woman, does she feel emotion? Does she provide the emotional safety for him to share?
Oh,
Because a lot of men have experienced where a woman who's quite toxic but used his vulnerability against him. And so they take that lesson and be like, cool, I can't share with women, period. Which isn't true. It's like, that's a reflection on her, not you, right? And actually, one thing that I want men to understand is that when you find that woman where you can be vulnerable for, it actually deepens your connection with her, which is really beautiful. But it takes a lot of trust, a lot of trust. One thing I would say for women in general is ask him, how do you feel? Literally just that simple question, like, how are you feeling right now? Or like, if he's saying this thing is going wrong, like, oh yeah, I just got told I'm going to be made redundant in 6 months, and I've got bills to pay, and I'm just trying to sort things out. And instead of, maybe, okay, how can we have a nice time? Sometimes just being like, yeah, that's a lot. Like, how does that make you feel? And then just let him speak. And if you provide that space, he will share. Now, one thing I'll say is he may not share the first time. He may not share the second time. But you consistently show that you're someone who is there to listen to him, and you ask him that question where you're saying, hey, I want to know how you're feeling. Eventually, he will open up to you. Same way I say to guys, like, if you try and escalate things sexually with a woman, she may not be ready the first time. She may not be ready the second time. But at some point, you make her feel safe enough. You guys are going to share that next level together. That's my take. What's your take?
There's two things there. I think historically, when I've worked with a lot of men who shut down, when someone asks them, how do you feel? They don't have the words. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of men, and we've collated words together that you can use with your partner, and have like 5 set of words and say, I feel rubbish and da da da. And actually, as a partnership, work on creating safe words, I like to call them.
Nice.
So there'll be times where he'll say, like, I don't know, I don't want to share that one, but one of the men that I worked with, he created like I can't remember what it was called. It was like a certain type of car, and it meant that actually I need to be left alone. And then he ranged it on different types of cars, and this certain car meant that actually I just need to be held.
Interesting.
So I think although we say ask, some men don't have the skill set to be able to use their words.
Sure.
It's about looking at, okay, can we simplify it? Have a healthy way between you two that you can know what he's feeling if he can't express his words.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's
I
really
think
valid.
we can assume everyone can speak. Me and you, we can articulate ourselves really well because we've got to this point.
Yeah.
But a man who's never been taught
very true
words will never be able to use words until we start somewhere.
Is it, just from your practice, is it worth, so for example, let's say there's a woman who's with a guy and he is retreating because he's going through emotionally difficult time. Does it serve her to suggest So like, for example, if she says, oh, like, how are you feeling, babe? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like, are you like feeling heavy? Are you feeling a bit, are you feeling low? Are you feeling angry? Like, does it help for her to basically suggest maybe words that maybe that isn't his emotional vocabulary that can help him go, yeah, that's what I'm feeling?
It works two ways.
Okay.
That can feel very overwhelming to someone and they can shut down even more because you're pressing, you're persistent. It's a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
1. 2, it can work if you're approaching it with caution and calmness.
Yes.
I think it's the deliverance that I would encourage people to be soft.
Yes.
And it's about the rather than commands, you almost want to be like I don't know, like it's hard for each man, I guess. Try and find words that bring him comfort to use. Similar to like, you almost want to be speaking the same language. You don't want to be like, are you calm? Are you sad? Are you like, it can be very overwhelming. So yeah, there's two ways. It can either make a man shut down even more, or it can be, if you deliver it nicely, it can be quite comforting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Going back a little bit, I want to ask for the men's side. So we asked, what do men need to have more empathy in women for?
Yeah.
What do you think is something that women need to have more empathy in regards to men for?
Oh, good question. I think, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to say that.
Say it. Come on, this is a judge-free zone. Let's
go. Finances.
Go on. Say more.
Gosh, every time I talk about finances, it's a time.
Oh, really?
But I think we are living in times where, unfortunately, a lot of women are doing incredibly well for themselves.
That's a good thing, no?
It's good, but when it comes to dating and relationships, it creates a lot of problems.
Say more.
I have to be careful how I word things, but I feel like the generations behind us, there was a whole fixation on men pay for everything, you exist, just find rich man,
Yeah.
Fortunately, in this current climate, it's becoming harder and harder. Things are expensive. Yeah, for everyone, things are expensive. And unfortunately, the gap between women and men in education, well, there's quite a gap there now.
Yeah.
I can't quote the stats because I don't know the stats, but I know there's quite a separation there.
Yeah.
And women are in powerful jobs now. And what that looks like for someone who... Do I use myself? Okay, I'll use myself.
Yeah.
Like, as someone who is self-employed and has her own stuff together, it's very hard to find someone, basically, in a nutshell.
Will you say find someone who fulfills what to you?
I guess it's... How do I answer this?
But say it straight, girl. Come on. This is,
I guess
it's no judgment here.
It's about being flexible with finances. I think you can't expect that in this generation and in this climate that someone is going to pay for your every single day life.
Yeah, I think if I'm being honest, I think if you're a woman, if you get that, that's a luxury.
It's a luxury now.
It's a luxury, like, because tell me what you think. It's great that women have the same opportunity as men to have fulfilling and earn great amounts, which is great. But to have that expectation for a man to be financially superior to you just doesn't make sense. You can't ask for equality and then expect him to still be superior to you in some way, because I'm like, oh, well, if I'm with him, that's going to elevate my lifestyle. The truth is, are there those men there? For sure. But that's an exception now. It's not the norm. Because back in the day, especially with the climate, right? Back in the day, the average job would pay for a family of 4.
Right.
Now it gets you a house share of 4.
Exactly.
So I think if you're a woman expecting that, and here's the thing, I say to women, right, want what you want. There's nothing wrong with it, but understand what it's going to require from you to get that kind of man.
And I love that you said that, because I always talk about the dark side of dating. When it comes to transactional relationships, again, treading carefully how we speak about this, there is a dark side of dating that people don't know. Unfortunately, if a man is paying for ABCD, there's a lot of men that expect things back.
100%. Hey, nothing comes for free. Yeah, for sure.
But I think there's a danger there with, I guess, being naive.
Sure.
There was a whole thing on the internet. Ooh, am I old? On social media about like paying for holidays and etc. and men feeling entitled to something after thwarting
A lot
something.
of money. Yeah.
And I don't think people are cautious enough when it comes to, if he's paying and spending a lot of money on you, please be careful, is what I always warn women about. Like, do be careful and don't. Okay, some men will do it for free and they'll do it for nothing, but be careful.
They never do it for free.
It comes at a cost and it's so sad, and I find it so scary.
If I'm
like,
honest.
It is incredibly scary. And I know this week there was the whole date. I don't like to say that word, where the person went on a date and then next minute woke up and
great sort of say for social media safety. I mean, that's obviously terrible. That's really unfortunate. It's interesting because because I'm not a woman, I don't have a female experience. I'm thinking, if I had met someone, let's say I met a woman and she was offering to spend thousands to fly me out somewhere, I would not think she's doing it because she thinks I'm the best person in the world, because she doesn't know me. When it's happening this early, if we've been together for like 6, 9 a year, different, because we actually know each other. So there's a level of rapport and foundation that's been built where, oh, this person actually does know who I am and sees value in me. But if she was just doing that because I look great, I'd be like, cool, she clearly wants something because she's not doing this for free. No one does that for free. So I guess my question is, do many women genuinely think that it's for free, or do they really?
Yes.
Is that just not naive?
And that I do a lot of work with people to understand the danger behind that. Because I think, again, I think this comes to when we grow up, we are raised with like Disney fantasies, fairy tales, everything is glorious.
True.
And I think a lot of people's parents have transactional relationships, so they don't see the other side of it. And then it's like, well, my mom and dad do this, so this is going to be fine. And then they get themselves into really sticky situations, to the point where people have been left in other countries with no money, no way to get themselves back.
It's interesting. Hear that, completely empathize with that.
It's such a dangerous territory. I don't think as women we are as switched on about it.
I just think honestly, I have to ask, have I earned that from this man? Like, have I spent time with him? Have I talked to him? Have I invested in him that warrants this level of financial gifting and rewarding and experience? And if I haven't, then he clearly wants something. Because I'm just thinking, like, I grew up in a Nigerian household, and we were very close to my father, and I have 2 younger sisters. There is no chance some guy early on wants to fly them out and they're saying yes. They'll be like, I don't know this man.
But you know why that is? Because they have older brothers, they've got people leading them the right way.
Sure.
Again, a lot of people don't have that. We live in a lonely world now. People are learning on the internet. If we're talking about younger generations, and even our generation, actually, I would say that people are getting guidance online. And if you search up flying me, I don't know, vacation, there's girls out there that will be like, oh, he took me here, he took me there, making it look like it's the most luxurious thing.
Right.
And almost like parading it. And I think there's a whole thing at the minute of people, how do I word it in a way that's a bit PG, doing underrated work,
right,
but not being advertised as that.
So the marketing.
And then people being like, oh, I want that lifestyle, how do I get it? And if a man is love bombing you and saying, "Oh, let's go to Maldives, let's go to St. Lucia, let's go," and I just come.
Would you, for you, right? Would you go somewhere on a trip where, left to your own devices, you'd have no means of getting home?
No, with someone else that I don't know.
Yeah,
Absolutely not. Am I deluded?
but that's what I mean, though.
Again, this is me.
But is it that like? Do you need a transformation to understand that?
Yeah, and
Really?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think you've got to realize that people are more naive than you think. Like, people aren't as switched on as us. I think there's a small percentage of people that are switched on.
It feels like common sense, though.
It is common sense, but how many people have we seen on 90 Day Fiance and they're coming back? Oh, can't get home. Of course, it's a show, but like, there's real people that have been like the girl who went to Jamaica and met a man, and then he convinced her to bring stuff back. Love can make you do crazy things, especially if you haven't experienced love and you're thinking, this could be it. This is it. Like, I've wasted all my life. The Disney stories are about this. This man is buying me Rolex, buying me Gucci.
Interesting.
He's it's almost like, I don't know how to.
It's almost like the deprivation of what they've been seeking.
Yeah.
When something comes along that can look like that, they jump at it.
There you go. And you've got to think, the people that are doing this are incredibly smart. They're intelligent people. You can manipulate someone's mind to do anything if you start flashing things in front of them. And there's a way that people can move to make your brain think, oh, maybe this is why I was feeling so lonely. Maybe this is what I've been waiting for. And your brain can do crazy things for you. There's a thing at the minute called Love OCD. Okay. Have you heard about it?
I haven't, no.
Very interesting concept. I know the BBC did a whole coverage on it recently. OCD around love and dating is incredibly scary.
Okay, what is love OCD for those of us that don't know?
So I don't know that. Can I get I don't want to quote something that's wrong.
Get definition up.
So it covers a variety of things. And also, have you heard about love psychosis as well? Ooh.
Love psycho.
Love it.
Who's coming out with this? Big Pharma's is trying to sell you something. I'm telling you.
No,
they're gonna try and come for me because I said that. Oops, sorry. Okay, it's my bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I love this stuff because
go for it.
The mind can do a lot. Let me get a definition.
But then and while you're doing that, maybe just part of my own anecdotal journey, because I think either the mind controls you or you control your mind. I think that's something that we have to work on. And I think when it's difficult, because it's not that you can't control your mind, but it does take a level of humility, reflection, accountability to be like, okay, I'm predisposed to do this because of X, Y, and Z. Doing this does not serve me. So I need to develop discipline or habits in a way that's going to help me make better decisions moving forward. And that's everyone's journey, and that is their own. Yeah.
And I think, yeah, you're right in that concept. I agree. And I think it comes from, as bad as this sounds, bad experiences encourage that process. Going through something bad that scares you, you never do it again.
Oh, there's a saying we say in Nigeria: those that don't hear shall feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel. Have you got the definition?
Yeah, I've got the definition.
Okay.
Sorry, my English is not great right now.
No,
it says love OCD is a subtype of obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, in which way a person experiences persistent, intrusive, and distressive doubts or fears about their romantic relationships or their feelings for their partner. Does that make sense?
So they have doubts about whether their relationship is going to last, or doubts about their partner's feelings towards themselves?
Yeah. And I guess it's also about comparing their relationships to others, or repeatedly seeking assurance, or checking constantly about their feelings or attraction, or whether...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do you think is this love OCD, is this more prevalent in women or men?
again, generalized statement,
Go on.
women.
100%. I don't think this is I'm not a medical professional, okay? But I don't think this is a medical diagnosis.
No,
I think there are things that both men and women look for in the other partner that are different. I think a lot of the time, I think women instinctually look for security. And her getting security is that reassurance that he still loves me. It's that reassurance that this is going to work out long term, right? That stability, security, which we know women seek naturally, right? Men just look for other things, which is why I don't think most
men would.
Well, I don't think that's a male typical problem. I think male typical problem comes in other things because
what other things?
So, like for example, I guess I'm trying to think of something that would be equivalent to that. So I think one way, okay, so men do seek security in a woman, but not in the same way. Usually has to do with sexual fidelity. So if a woman, for example, has cheated before, or she sells herself sexually online, or she goes out and very much like advertises herself for a lot of male attention, most guys do not like that. And a lot of men who have options would just not accept that, is the truth. This is why the whole thing of like, oh, what's her, body count comes in, all of this, because men look for security in knowing that the child's going to be his instinctually, right? So we look for sexual fidelity. I think women look for security in regards to, not to bring it down to just kind of transactional brass tacks, but for resources, because if he doesn't love you, if you don't have that reassurance from him, this isn't going to last long term, you don't have the stability and security of that relationship.
Yeah, I think there's an element of safety there. I think women like to feel safe.
Yeah. And I think men don't look for safety in that way, but I think they look for insurance, reassurance.
Yeah. Can I just touch back on something that you just said there?
Yeah.
About sort of physical contact, sexual contact. So I'm aware that there's this, I don't know how, I don't like labels and names, but I think society now has moved on in terms of how men are asking for sexual needs from women.
Okay.
I think things used to be a bit more, how do I put it? Not respectful, I don't think, but like things used to be more gentle. You're Nigerian, right? Like jeje used to be very, right? It's very small, like very delicate. We build our way there. Now it's
You're talking about sexual intimacy? Is that what you mean?
And requests and acts, if that makes sense. Especially
sexually
like sexually on dating apps.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I even saw a thing today. I screenshot it because I wanted to speak about it.
Yeah,
I'll show you actually. It's a post that someone has put, and I thought, how in this world is this where we are with our generation?
Let me take a look. Okay. Can I show?
Can't show the person's face.
Oh yeah, it's true. Okay.
Maybe zoom in.
You can't see the face, but it says. The prompt is, I go crazy for, he says, arguing in missionary. That's kind of funny.
It is, but like, how did we get so proud, like, about this? Where did I miss something?
Should I tell you what I think did this?
Who? No, I know who you're going to say.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say a person's name that a man's name that we often hear?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay, fine.
It's the sexual liberation of women.
Okay.
Women can, like, what men are seeing is that it's not, by all means, it is not all women, but a lot of women, a lot more proportionally compared to before, are leading with sexuality and leading with sex. And I don't even mean just in terms of what they advertise, but also how they move. So there are women, right? Depending if the guy is desirable enough to her on a dating app, she will come to his house that night. And so what I'm trying to say is the landscape has changed because as women, you set the standards.
Do we?
Yeah.
I disagree.
You set the standards. So what I mean is, if there were not women who would go to a guy's house very easily,
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
If there are women who didn't actually respond to that, guys wouldn't do it because it wouldn't work. It's the same with like chivalry, right? The reason chivalry is dead is because men have seen, at least in today's landscape, chivalry does not get them what they're wanting. We know a lot of women ask for this. We know a lot of women say they desire this. But if you're thinking about a man, and if you're thinking, okay, the initial driver why a man pursues a woman is because he's sexually attracted to her, right? If he's thinking, okay, what's gonna get me into having sexual intimacy with a woman where she really desires me sexually? Is it being chivalrous? For what a lot of guys experience, that's not what it is. It's being in really good shape. It may be having a good following. It may be being very confident, maybe having a good business. It may be being successful. So it's like, as a guy, if you have all those things, you don't need to
do all of that
because you're getting rewarded for different qualities and different behaviors. And so while of course I agree that's, crass, and I kind of find it funny, but from his profile, I mean, I'd have to let women judge. If they thought he was a desirable enough man, there are some women who find him desirable enough
to do
that would work. And so he's like, well, I'm going to filter out for the women who find me desirable enough, because the women who do, I'll just choose from them because I know I'm going to get what I want. So men are always adapting to what women respond to. So y'all have the power.
Scary, scary time. And I say this because I speak to a lot of people who they're struggling to keep up with their partners now, sexually, as in the sense of like the
both sides, men and women, or mainly
women the demand,
right?
And again, like you probably know that women, it's up here, before it's
100%,
but men, it's the opposite way.
We're like a microwave.
Yeah. And I think
women are more of an oven. You have to warm them up.
And I spoke to a lot of like women who actually express, and they say like, it's not that I don't want to, it's the fact that I'm not being stimulated the same way, and it's almost feeling like a chore. And I said, whoa, it should never feel like a chore to anyone. That's not, if it feels like a chore, something's going wrong. Something in the relationship is not,
Sure.
And I think, how do I touch on this without like, how do we? No, how, I think there's something there about a mismatch.
Yeah.
And a balance around, I guess, sex education from a lady's perspective and a man's perspective. That work still needs to be done.
Yes. So, and I actually get this from Esther Perel. She says this, and she was saying about with the bunch of couples she's worked with, especially where she's come across this situation where it seems like his sexual desire is a lot higher than hers. And her words, not mine. She's like, for a lot of women, they go, well, you don't make me feel turned on. Where really it's about you as a woman going, I turn myself on when I do X, Y, and Z. So for example, a lot of women find that women who look after themselves physically, right, who train regularly, who eat well, who sleep well, have a higher sex drive than women who don't.
This is true.
Right? Women who make an effort to look good and feel good tend to have a higher sexual desire than women who don't. And so while I agree, there is definitely an element on the man's part to understand that seduction doesn't start from when you kiss her, it starts from when you send her the text in the morning.
Yeah.
That is absolutely valid. The biggest factor comes from how she feels about herself and how she treats herself. This is what Esther Perel's noticed, can play a big influence in that. Now, I would say, of course, if a woman's in a relationship, she doesn't feel desired or valued from a man, of course, that's going to affect it. So I'm not going to say that those aren't influencing factors. But even anecdotally, it's just one part of man's experience and some of my guy friends, the women who are maybe the most quote unquote, let's say attractive, in great shape, all of this stuff, have a very like higher sex drive. And I don't know if maybe is it a correlation? Is it a causation? I don't know. But then I guess there is this cliche that generally speaking, men have a higher drive than women.
They do.
Cliche.
And there's also cycles for that too.
Yeah, there's probably, I mean, there's
the time of day.
time of day, and they're going to be, I mean, there's probably one part in the month where a woman's drive is higher than his because maybe she's ovulating. So it may be a lot higher. And it's even funny where there's studies where depending on what cycle she's at, depending where she is in her cycle, can even influence the kind of man that she's sexually attracted to.
And also contraceptive also has an impact on the type of man that you find attractive.
100%. So I think the study is just like when she is ovulating or about to, her hindbrain is optimizing for like the best genes. Tall, attractive, confident. Whereas I think it's a different part of the cycle. Maybe it's after that ovulation period, or maybe even just after the period, she's choosing for stability. So like safety, empathy, warmth, invitation.
So interesting.
Which is really interesting.
This stuff.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, what's your thoughts? What have you found in that?
I think it's true. I think I don't even know. Don't quote me, but there's a period where you see men who were like on building sites, strong and heavy, and you're like, "Whoa, this is great!" And this time you see like a nice guy, finance bro, and you're like, wow, okay, that would make a great partner.
Yeah.
But what your body's trying to do is trying to mate, in a sense, like it's trying to find the best partner to mate with.
Yeah.
But very interesting though.
Have you heard of like the dual mating strategy for both men and women?
No.
Like this comes from like evolution psychology or evolution biology rather.
Yeah.
So the idea is that the term for the women's side is alpha fucks, beta bucks. So when she's ovulating, she's optimizing for good genes, good genetics. She wants the tall, attractive, confident, whatever. She's not focused on whether he's going to stay. She's just focused on getting the alpha seed. So the alpha male, he fucks. When she's looking for the safety, security, stability, she's optimizing for a guy who's going to stay, who's going to invest long term, who's going to be there, right? And that's the quote unquote, the beta bucks, as in the beta male provides the financial resources of stability and security, and the alpha provides the good genes. So he fucks. Alpha fucks, beta bucks.
Very interesting.
I mean, how true do you feel that is?
I think that's very true. I think
during that, hey,
I don't know. Well, I can't tell you. Like during that whole cycle, God knows what's going on because you can't even put two and two together. You're just seeing men that you don't even find attractive, and you're like, whoa, like it's a crazy experience until a point you think, like, am I normal? Is this normal? I like, you know,
interesting.
It's such a dystopian like feeling in the sense like it doesn't even feel real. Like there's also, I don't want to, this is not about terminology, there's also another it's called menstrual disorder, and it's almost like a mini psychosis before you go into a period. Like it's so deep, and we need to stop talking about periods and move on. Like,
that's so interesting. You had a couple of things you wanted to bring to the conversation.
I wanted to talk about something actually.
Yes, go for it.
You ready to implement what you've learned here in your own life? Because if you're watching this, then you already know there's a lot I can't say on YouTube. The real patterns I see, the psychology behind why certain men behave the way they do, the exact moves for you to make so you start getting more of what you want. If you've been following along and something's finally clicked, then you might be ready for the next level where you move beyond theory and actually implement these learnings so you can get some outcomes in your own life with someone who actually gets it. I've found the real breakthroughs happen when I'm able to have a one-to-one with you. So if you're finally ready to stop spinning your wheels and get the outcomes you think you deserve, let's talk. Use the one-to-one link in the description and I'll be in touch. Now enjoy the rest of the episode. Hello?
Obviously, there's a big push at the moment with like weight loss jabs, etc. Everybody's now looking, the body standard is changing.
Yep.
We're going back to slim, thin, But how is that affecting attraction? Because biologically, I don't know, this may be wrong, this might have changed.
Yeah.
Men are attracted to wide hips because it means they can help me here.
Birth bearing hips.
Yeah. physique, the cola bottle.
Sure.
This is historically what's happened, but now everybody's taking Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, and everyone's
It's shrinking down.
yeah. How is that affecting, I guess, attraction?
That's a good point. So I think different areas and different cultures of the world have had different ideal beauty standards.
Mm.
So for example, in terms of being like, let's say really slim all the way down, like that was very much the beauty standard in like the West, I'd say like 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
And that's very like Western Eurocentric. And then I think hip hop and black culture became mainstream in the 2000s over the past 2 decades. And so now every girl wants big lips, every girl wants a big bum.
BBL.
Exactly, right? Whereas back in the day, it was, does my bum look big in this? Oh no. Whereas I would argue in the black community, us black males appreciating a fuller woman having nice bum, nice, that's something that we've always found attractive, I would say typically. So I think what's happened is that standard or that beauty attraction has just become mainstream compared to the stick thin, typical Eurocentric. In terms of women getting slimmer with all these things, I think there's definitely like a fitness craze over the past 10 years. So I'd say that's for men and for women. You know, like back in the day, not every guy was trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now every guy is. Every guy's, you know,
in the gym.
Trying to take testosterone. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I always keep healthy, but yeah, I mean, I train. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's definitely caught up for men. I think the pressure isn't as much on men compared to women for sure. But honestly, men, maybe this is a nice answer, but men enjoy variety. So they'll sleep with a girl who's really, really skinny, and then they'll sleep with a girl who's a bit on the thicker side. Do you know what I mean? They'll sleep with a girl who's heavy in the chest and no bum, and then the girl who's like heavy in the bottom, and then do you know what I mean? So guys really aren't as fussy as I think women think.
Okay.
I think women are just competing with each other.
I think that's very true. Body image is a real thing.
Yeah. What do you feel there's do you think women have a higher standard for men's attractiveness today than before? Do you think it's going down or up? Do you think it's shifted at all?
I think nowadays women are so picky. Like there's more criteria now. And I think that's also what's pushing men to be in the gym hard.
Sure.
Because I think there is that whole pressure of like, if he doesn't go to the gym, I don't want him. He has to be this. The 6 foot stuff has been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I think there's a more of a push against body image, like looking healthy.
Why do you think that's happened for women? Why do you think that standard's increased over time?
I think it's just survival of the fittest, I guess. If a man looks good, he's going to last longer. No?
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's just biologically maybe.
I think part of it, I think 2 things. I think 1, because we live in an attention economy.
True.
So attention is the most valuable currency right now.
So true.
And so if you're a woman and you're with that attractive guy, you're going to get attention as a byproduct anyway. I do think it's a reflection on more women sitting in their masculine, because I think prioritizing looks and attractiveness in a mate over everything else is a very masculine way today, because that's what men do. Whereas back in the day, just being honest, the women that I've seen who have prioritized looks really heavily are women who have had more of the masculine ideal experience, where they've had quite a few sexual partners, a lot of sexual experiences, not a lot of commitment. And the women who, appreciate a good looking guy, but they prioritize other things like what's his long-term prospect like? What's his stability like? You know, is he consistent? Is he intentional? I've seen them actually get the results that the feminine would want, which is long-term investment, security, stability. So I think if a woman is heavily prioritizing a man's looks over everything else, I think she's probably sitting in her masculine quite heavily.
Yeah, very true.
What do you think?
I think that's true. I think we are seeing a lot of relationships like that now,
Yeah.
We are seeing a lot of relationships like that now, though, where they're being led by the woman. That's more common than people think it is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people won't admit to it. But that's another
Mm.
conversation for a different day. Because
Yeah.
a
Do
lot
women
of,
want to? Are they enjoying that kind of being in the more
No,
leadership?
I think
No. Okay.
I don't think they're enjoying it. Like, who's enjoying
I don't like to
that?
make assumptions, but I like to
Who's
ask.
enjoying that?
Why not?
I don't think it's about enjoyment. I think it's about survival, if I'm being honest with you.
Interesting.
In the sense of like, how do I put this in a nice way? Sometimes men are a bit slow. You
Sure.
need to steer the boat to get it going. And that's what I think is happening
Slow
now.
in what sense?
Like, again, it goes down to the marriage concept. A lot of women are saying, I want to get married early on. And then it's like, oh, yeah. 4 years later, she's now being the one dragging him to the ring shop because he's not, how do I put it? He's not initiating that.
I hear you.
So, and then it's about, okay, let's go look at houses because he's not initiating that. So a lot of women are having to pull.
So I hear you. I think there's a misinterpretation there. That is not men being slow. Is that less men desire that now?
True.
Because less men want to get married, full stop. And less men see there's not a strong incentive for a man to marry now. So it's like, why would I commit myself to look after this woman if A, if she leaves, she's going to take half of my hard work anyway, and B, you know, a lot of what we've seen as well from like rom-coms or popular TV media, like the husband is just like basically a cuck in his own home, where like he doesn't have that level of respect that men actually desire.
Yeah.
He's like the lucky sod to have found her. So that's the kind of marriages that has been pushed to us as men. So it's like, why would I sign myself up for that? So, and if we're being honest, yeah, go on.
I also think like from a lady's perspective, like we have to mate at some point.
You don't have to get married to have kids. Most people don't.
Again, but it's subjective. Culturally, I think a lot of, again, we're from African backgrounds.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable now?
In the West?
In the West, yeah.
Sure.
They have, everything runs there.
Sure.
But like us as cultural people, could you, I hate this word.
Go on.
Conceive of a woman and
you say impregnate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
sure.
then,
Yeah.
And then not marry.
So
would your dad say that's okay? Let's just everything aside. Would your dad be like, oh yeah, cool, son, carry on?
Sure. So you're right in terms of culturally, but also if we're talking culturally, right, the woman obeys the man. It says in the Bible, a wife obeys her husband.
Yes.
And the wife submits her husband. So if we're talking the West, how many women are going, yeah, I will obey my husband? Even just saying that will make women recoil.
And this is another thing I've heard. Being submissive now.
I mean, you can't ask for a traditional institution if you're not going to be traditional.
Again, this is this has come up quite recently for me, and I'm still navigating and trying to help people to navigate it too. But I had an experience of a girl that lives in London, but she's now marrying someone who has grew up and lived in Nigeria.
Okay.
She is a strong woman.
Okay.
Has never been taught how to be submissive.
Right. Why did you marry her?
Love is great.
So, men don't marry for love, but yeah, go on.
And they're like trying to navigate that is a very interesting field. Like, because I guess if you're talking about tradition.
But I guess they're not traditional because she's not submissive. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of saying this all tongue in cheek. Like everyone's marriage can be defined how they want. So if the woman is in the leadership position, he's more submissive, fine, so be it. If the woman's more the provider than he is, fine, so be it, right? There are more marriages now where the woman is probably more in the leadership position, like you said.
That happens all the time in my country.
Wait, where's your heritage?
I'm from Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Okay, fair enough.
It happens all the time.
So I'm not saying everyone has to have it a certain way, but they have to understand that I think what can happen is people want the benefits of being traditional
Mm.
without giving in a traditional way, and you can't have it both ways. So if you're saying I want to have a tradition, like as a man, if you're saying I want a woman who's going to be submissive to me, I want a woman who's going to do the traditional tasks like look after the home, cook, tidy, clean, right? Who's going to be in her feminine, cool, fantastic. You need to develop yourself to become the kind of man who can provide that frame for that woman.
Mm.
You can't be like, yeah, I wanted to be super submissive, feminine, traditional, but now you're asking for 50-50. That doesn't run.
Ding, ding, ding.
You see what I'm
Can
saying?
let's let that be known to everyone.
100%.
Let's let that be known. Let that be common dialogue.
But what I will say with that though, when I say 50-50, I'm not even just talking about financially. I'm talking about responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? Because the idea traditionally is that a husband takes responsibility for his wife. Right? So it's not like, okay, you know, yes, 50-50 financially can play a part for sure, but the careful argument I would say is like when you have a lot of immigrants that come to the West, they have a very traditional dynamic, even though they're both working. But he will take responsibility for the family, right? So like, for example, it's very common for a lot of Africans who come to the West, a lot of Mexicans who go to the US, Iranian families, like a lot of immigrant families, she's very much the submissive role and he's very much the masculine head, even if they're both working, because you live in an economy where most households need two incomes. But he takes responsibility in terms of how the finances are split, in terms of where the finances go to make sure the family stays afloat, right?
But
Sure,
she's still coming from a 12-hour shift and coming to look after the kids on her own and cooking it and everything. But she's still bringing 50% of the household income.
Well, what I would say is that it's not like she's coming home and she's looking after the kids by herself. He's there too. And actually, in terms of, we really under-report fatherhood's participation in households, because there is a lot of, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of single mother households. That's valid. But we also heavily underreport the amount of households that have really good fathers who are there and present and working. So, but the reason I say that, let's even talk the financial side of things. I agree. If you're a man, you want to be with a feminine, submissive woman, you have to be the kind of man who can provide that frame. And I would say as a woman, if you want to be with a traditional masculine man, you have to be a feminine, submissive woman who is willing to follow his leadership. That's how it goes. And you don't have to have that, but you have to ask yourself, okay, because the thing is, nothing is all good or all bad. There's pros and cons to everything.
There is.
There's pros and cons. So you just have to ask, okay, the thing that I'm wanting, am I willing to pay that cost? And that's something men and women have to ask themselves. And I think everyone's looking for the best of both, and that doesn't exist, unfortunately.
It doesn't exist. I wonder what love and relationships will look like in 20 years from now.
Well, I was going to ask you something. A lot of people are turning to AI for companions. Do you think that is... Do you think more women will turn to AI in terms of having like an AI boyfriend, or do you think more men will turn to having like an AI girlfriend?
I think AI girlfriend, hasn't it already started in Asia? It's already started, and I don't think it's a new phenomenon. I just think it's about how people will accept it. I think people will continue to use AI for advice and guidance and almost filling the gap of that loneliness. It will fill a void. But I think it will almost be like a taboo thing. Like who will in their right minds confidently say, yeah, I'm married to a bot? Like, I think,
do you know what?
Pride will get in the way of that, I think.
You know what? I hear you. I think it's become less taboo because, one, so many people use AI and most people underreport how much they do use it.
Of course.
The second thing is, this is what people said with dating apps. They're like, no one's going to admit and say that they use dating apps to find their partner. Over 50% of couples now meet online.
But the dating app, I can't speak now. The dating apps are going down as well in terms of usage.
That is actually true. Yeah. What do you think is driving it down? That is true.
I think people have dating fatigue from dating apps. I think a lot of people are exhausted that they're thinking, let's go.
Sorry, guys. We had a technical difficulty. When it comes to you just disclosed something actually about.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
You
Off the
didn't?
record, I didn't.
Off the record. Okay, fine. Off the record. I'll have to tell you. Maybe I'll tell you after.
No, he's
Let me
not.
ask you a question. Actually,
I
general question.
did not say anything.
I won't say after. I'm just teasing. Do you think many people feel comfortable single?
Do you know what? I would actually disagree. I think it takes a unique person to feel like to actually like being single. In this
I don't think so.
In this, okay, being single brings a lot of comfort, peace,
Freedom.
freedom.
Sure.
But I think the body will always yearn at some point, right?
I'm going to say something controversial. If I didn't want to have kids, I don't think I'd ever be in a relationship again.
If you didn't want kids.
Yeah. I definitely would not get married.
So everything you're doing is just because you want kids?
Well, I want to build a legacy, yeah.
I don't think everybody's wired that way, though.
I'm just saying that's just for
think
me.
The thing is, it's about those dark and lonely nights in the winter when it's getting dark at 2 p.m. Like, how do you really feel? I think everyone is always going to feel some type of way.
Some people don't feel lonely, though. Some people enjoy their own company.
They do, but for how long?
But I mean, you can. It doesn't mean you don't have friends. That doesn't mean you don't have loved ones. We're just talking about a singular romantic relationship.
Oh, you're talking just love and relationships.
Well, yeah, I think that, like, okay, hypothetically, and I say this because some of my guys my guy friends who are attractive, successful, right? If they're not looking to have a family right now.
Are you single?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You introduce. Well,
Thank
I have to vet you first, then I'll introduce you. But
fine.
sure,
I'm single.
They can watch this. Actually, to be fair, you got a good head on your shoulder. She's a good one. Actually, she's a good one. So, for example, if they want companionship, spend time with their friends, right? So they can have a really good time. They're quite successful, so they're working 10, 12 hours a day anyway, right? So they're used to, especially as an entrepreneur, it's a very solo path, is what I should say. And if they want, physical intimacy, just being real with you, they've got a rotation of women.
Everybody pays for it these days.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can do that in this country. Maybe you probably can some way. But they've got women who they're dating casually, and they've got several women, a rotation, where they can spend time with them, have a nice evening with them, have some physical intimacy, and then, they go about their day the following day.
And I would also ask that person, when you're 80, 70, is that going to work?
Well, this is what I'm saying. That's why I said if they're not looking to build a legacy right now, them being single is actually more enjoyable and best for them because they're not intentional about building a legacy at the moment. But when they go, okay, you know what, I do want to have kids, I do want to get married, then obviously that's when it serves to, to focus on one person.
Yeah, I think there's something there about companionship and the human biology. But I'd love to do like a social experiment of like 10 single people, bachelors, and follow them throughout the course of their lives and see if they can sustain being single and for the entirety of their life. Because I think a lot of people would struggle with it.
I agree that I think most people, human beings, want a companion, and a relationship and connection. I do agree with that. I'm just saying that for a lot of guys, especially if they're what we call the eligible guys, so they have a level of optionality, until they're ready to start having a family or building that legacy, there's not a strong incentive to just commit to one person.
But there's also other pressures like societal pressures and family pressures, things that will
that's light though. If you're being honest, like if you're living by yourself, how often are you hearing societal pressures or like family pressures?
Yeah,
and I think women probably get it more than men. To be honest,
it's so subjective. Again, it's not by force that you find someone and you get married. Blah 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 blah. Everyone's got the right of choice. So again, do what pleases you and what will fulfill your life.
I do think that. And I think this goes for men and women. I think whatever it is you want in 5 years' time, you need to start making those decisions now.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give us an example?
Okay, so let's say, for example, let's say a woman says that she wants to be married with her first child by age 35.
Yeah.
Well, she had her first child at 35. She was pregnant at 34. She's pregnant at 34. Probably started trying when you were like 33. We assume you want to be married before you start trying. So let's say you're married by 33. You're probably engaged for a year or two. Most people are. So that means you got engaged when you're 31. Now, most people, but especially men, want to spend at least a few years with a woman before he goes, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her.
2 or 3 years, apparently.
So that means if they got engaged at 31, she kind of met him 28, 29. So from meeting the guy to marriage with kids, for the average couple, it's anywhere between like a 4 to 7 year process.
Yeah. And I think, yes, plan, do it.
I'm just saying being intentional, yeah.
Intentional, yes. But I think what people need to be, I guess, more fluent in is the fact that things don't always go to plan.
Oh, of course.
And I think there's a whole thing, again, a lot of women would do that, meet someone and they'll have a 5-year plan. This needs to happen in this year. This needs to happen this year. But that creates pressure on the relationship.
I agree. So I think it's not necessarily about it has to happen like this, but I guess what I'm saying is, and it's not even just for relationships, I'd even say for business.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah, have an ideal, have a plan.
Yeah.
But be okay with it not working also. Be comfortable with the unknown.
Of course. There's always going to, what's that saying? They say, if you have plans, tell God and he'll laugh.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Because he will do what he wants to do.
Because he'll be like, oh, you think that's how it's going to go?
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, it's like, if you know that you want to buy a house in 5 years' time, you have to start saving now, realistically, for most people. That's not saying that, okay, I have to have this house by year 2020.
But there's also people who find their partner tomorrow and they'll be married in a year. A lot of Asian marriages, do you think they've got 5 years?
True. They are kind of semi-arranged.
Let's not make that generalized. We're not saying that. But a lot of Asian marriages happen at a quicker speed. That all happens very quickly.
Sure. Arranged wasn't the right word, I guess. And this is my experience, anecdotal experience from friends and people I know. They were introduced with that intention, is what I should say, as opposed to arranged. It was like, oh, we've got somebody who could be a great husband for you or a great wife for you. And then they meet, they date, and they go, yeah, this works. And then it happens pretty swiftly. But also it happens just non-culturally.
Yeah, ad hoc. Like one of my friends actually, she met her partner in Soho House and they are married now. And that was last year.
There you go.
And they're moving to...
How old is she?
39?
Yeah, that makes sense. Like at that age, you're not going to waste time, are you?
Yeah, they're moving to a different country. Like it all happened at the right time for them.
Yeah, I think it's not that it doesn't happen, but those are the exceptions. I think that's a very, very small percentage. Most people don't spend the rest of their lives with someone they've known for less than 12 months. Most.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What's something else you want to bring to the conversation today? Something else you want to bring?
So
go for it. Have a look.
I guess there's 2 things that I wanted to ask. Let's do the easy one first.
Okay.
So like, what is the male equivalent? Male equivalent to women's like getting flowers. Does that make sense? Like, I always, especially with guys, like I never know, like you guys will give us flowers, we'll get this, but what do you guys actually want from us?
Picking up our dry cleaning.
Acts of service?
Yeah, doing something where you're making my life easier.
Okay. So,
or like when I get back from the gym, my protein shake is already made.
Oh, so it's not about buying an item, it's more so...
If you get something that's very, very thoughtful, that's special. Okay, so like, for example, so we lost my dad a few years ago to cancer, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear.
I appreciate it. We all lose our parents eventually. And my girlfriend got me I was very close with my dad and she got me like a keyring with a picture of like me and him when we were younger. That was like a special gift. Do you know what I mean? But if you're saying equivalent to like just buying flowers, like, doing things that just takes things off his plate, really. Like that's what men appreciate that way more, I think, women realize. Like it really doesn't take a lot for a woman to be seen as wifey material in his eyes. Like it really doesn't take a lot.
Okay, tell us then. Tell us.
Okay, so
Let me get my notepad.
Sure, I feel you. Okay, I'll give you this example, right? I was doing, I don't know if you know, but I'm an actor as well. I was doing a show in Wales several years ago. And there was this beautiful South African actress in the show who'd come from South Africa to do this show. And obviously we were only doing the show for a few months. And there was a lot of chemistry there. And obviously we knew there was a expiry date, is what I should say. Because she lives over there, I live here. And so we were just kind of like, cool, we know that we're just going to have fun, just enjoy the time that we've got. And I think part of her maybe would have entertained something more. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just getting from what I was kind of feeling. But I kind of knew in my head, yeah, we're going to have a nice time together. And this is the first time I ever experienced this. Every time I went over to her house, right, where she was staying, full English breakfast every morning. Every time I went over, she would offer to like do my clothes and my washing, right? And she'd be like, oh, can I give you a massage? You know, we had like a couple of really hard shows, all of this stuff. Now, bearing in mind, I'd already decided in my head, like, I know this isn't going to go anywhere long term.
Yeah.
In my head, I really started to consider, I may need to try and make this work long term, because I had never experienced that. I was probably like 25,
So
4.
we just need to
25.
all start whipping up full English breakfast every single day.
I'm not saying you have to do it every day. So an example I'll give. Go on.
Is that all it takes? Because
Yolanda, we are very simple creatures, men. We are very, very simple. Like, how do you listen? Men just want 3 things: be someone that he's obviously attracted to,
of course,
right? Can you respect him always, regardless of how you're feeling? If you're upset, disagreements is fine. Always speak to him and be respectful to him, right? Which also includes protecting his reputation. And how do you make his life easier? Just taking those easy remedial tasks off. Like, you know, when we talk about women who have those top really successful guys, those women,
they're cooking English breakfast, guys.
Listen, they're taking care of things outside of work. Like, the tasks they're doing, they're not high skill level tasks. I'm not saying they're not valuable, but I'm just saying that in terms of what makes a man see a woman as long-term potential, because you have to think of it this way, right? You want to show up in a way that makes him go, this is how, the way you show up when you're dating him, he's going, well, if I invest long term, this is what I'm signing up for.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about there is what's it, the hierarchy of needs?
Maslow's hierarchy.
There you go. Let's take it all the way back, because what you're explaining there is like the foundation level, the bottom level. Like, like, I can't remember, my brain is not working, but we are just crossing off those things on that bottom of the list, because
sure, his Maslow's hierarchy of needs is to do with like human survival / fulfillment, what we seek at different stages. But just in terms of what makes a man see a woman as girlfriend material, and I'm just gonna be honest, a woman who is at least sexually selective, you know, a woman who it doesn't seem like she's out there doing the most.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a big one.
So you're saying that she has to be, how would I put it in a way? Almost, and not reserved, but like not out there to the whole world.
Well, yeah, men don't see those women as wifey material.
So
what
does that look like? Is that dress sense? Is that going to every single event? Is that traveling all the time? Because I get told I travel too much to be someone that can settle down. Like, what is it? Like,
who told you that, man or woman?
A man. I was like, shut up. Like,
so I think, what I mean is, if she advertises herself sexually to attract male attention,
sexually, clothing, how she moves, can you just dissect that for us?
Okay, so how she presents herself. So clothing style, because, you know, her dress sense and her style, how she presents herself suggests a level of, it's not determining, but suggests a level of class, right? And because if you're thinking about a man who's successful, it means that you will go into his circles and you will represent him, and he thinks about those things.
Yes.
So in terms of how she presents herself to the world. Also, if she's always in like party, especially alcohol induced environments, so she's always going to Ibiza, always like going to festivals all the time and stuff like that, to guys it kind of suggests a level of risk to the relationship, because guys they see things as like risk management.
Never thought about it that way.
So it's kind of like, that's not saying she's a bad person. She could be a great person.
Risky.
We could have great chemistry. But in terms of long term, because I know full well we're going to have up and downs in our relationships. That's normal. But But if we're having a down in our relationship, we slept together the first time we met, and you're going to Ibiza with your girlfriends, do you think I'm going to trust you to not do anything? At least, do you think I'm not going to trust you to not at least entertain intention from other men? You may or may not, but it's about looking at how does she behave now, and how does she choose to live her life, and that's going to suggest how she will handle certain situations.
Okay.
And so guys are looking at that. She could be great, but she's a risk.
So why then do they cheat with that type?
Because men's investment isn't sexual attention, it's non-sexual attention. So what I mean is, the woman who gets his emotional commitment, the woman who gets his investment long-term, the woman who, for example, he marries, right? Who gets the kids, gets the house, she has his long-term investment. The woman he just sleeps with on Friday night, that's not investment. It's not. I'm not saying it's okay, but the woman who gets dick, she's not winning. That's an indulgent for him. It's not him choosing her. But he cheats with that kind of woman. It's not okay for him to cheat, if he says he's going to be faithful. But the reason he will cheat with that kind of woman is because, irony, that kind of woman is the one that he sees as a side piece that would entertain being one.
So interesting. I don't think we'll ever understand the male mind. I think.
Do you know what? Women used to understand the male mind, but I think.
So I think it's just.
I think mums and aunties. I just don't think they listen to mums and aunties anymore. We're very simple creatures.
That's such a good thing to talk about, actually.
Go on.
I don't know how long we have, but.
Yeah, we've got time.
I think let's talk about that, actually, because I'm finding that, I guess, culturally.
Yeah.
If we talk about, I guess, the moms and the aunties and how they navigated relationships back then, is so different to how we navigate relationships. So I did this concept, like, how can they accept? So you go from doing school, study your books, knuckle down, you finish uni, you graduate, it's like marriage. No education about this is the type of man you want, this is the type of woman you want. It's just, when are you getting married? Like, especially in African and some Asian cultures, there's such a big gap in terms of the dialogue from study your books to marriage. That it's almost like overnight you graduate and it's like, okay, where's your husband? Did you, and I've done a lot of sessions with people that come and they say, I've tried to lean on my mum and dad for support with my marriage, and my mum just tells me to shush. Just tells me just get on with it.
Yeah.
And again, it's like that dialogue.
What do you think men are told? You think they're told anything different?
No, but I think it's like in Western cultures, if they went to their mum and dad and said, look, mum and dad, we're struggling in our marriage, it'd be such a different conversation.
I think our generation are spoiled. I think we're spoiled, and I think we're a bit entitled. I think we deserve the fantasy we see in Hollywood, and real marriage is not that.
No, it's not.
Real marriage is work, but not just work. It's also compromise. It's also, there are certain things that come with being with somebody, either with that specific person or having a husband or having a wife, right? That is not in your ideal perfect world, but you chose to accept it when you married the person. And I think our generation are told that we can have everything always. And that's not true, because anything worth having comes as a sacrifice.
I would say we're actually not spoiled.
I think we are.
No,
I think we're spoiled in our ideals.
I think we ask a lot, but I think a lot of us had, people had rough childhoods, Do
you think our parents had it better?
No, they probably had rough childhoods too.
Do you think their parents had it better than them, or worse?
But they didn't have to navigate AI.
Oh, we didn't have to navigate a war.
This is true.
We didn't have 2 world wars.
Yeah.
Every generation has something that they have to navigate. I'm not taking that away from us, and that comes with its own difficulties because there's learning curves with that. 100%. But I think when it comes to dating and relationships, I think we just have a ridiculous expectation and entitlement.
So unrealistic as well.
It's so unrealistic. Like, I think the fact that there are women we live in a day and age of equality where women can and do work, where women are out earning their male counterparts under the age of 30. And we
Period.
still have women saying they want a man to come in and pay for everything is asinine. Especially when our parents' generation, the women worked. Their parents' generation, the women worked. Whether they were working in the home or working an actual job to help earn some income too. It's like when the war happened and all the men went, women were working. They took over the positions that men did in the country. You know, like Waterloo Bridge, right?
Here
Actually
we go.
learned this on a tour. That was built by women, by the way. Fun fact, in London.
Yeah.
Waterloo Bridge was built by women. I also, fun fact, was the only bridge that was actually built on time. Ironically, for whatever reason, I don't know what that suggests. Maybe women just get the job done quicker. I don't know.
We do.
Maybe they do. Maybe you do. Fair enough. But yeah.
There's also such a women and men, women and men, women and men, women and men. It's always like
Adversarial.
yeah, like can we just strip it all back and just not have this to and from? Does that make sense? Because I think that's where half of the issues stem from.
I agree. Maybe I respect I'm giving the male perspective. I feel like I think a lot of men see online about women saying about how trash men are, about how not to accept the bare minimum, about how if a guy's not 6'4", blue eyes in finance, he's not worth anything. And so that makes a lot of men go, all right, well, I'm just going to check out then. And I think a lot of, like, there's this, I won't say her name out of respect, but there's this girl who hosted an event I went to recently. Actually, I won't say her name, but do you remember that article that was having a boyfriend is embarrassing now? Picked up by Vogue? That's crazy. The fact that that is actually something not only that was actually written and publicized, but then pushed. And I'm just being honest, from the branding, how like half of the brand is her basically shitting on men, telling about how, why would you need a man? You don't need all of this. So while I appreciate there seems to be this adversarial thing, and the red pill is a response to all this. Do you know what I mean? Well, red pill started as like self-improvement, and then it, you know, became a bit more extreme with certain people in the space. But there's a lot, I think, like if I wrote an article being like having a girlfriend is embarrassing, I'll get cancelled. I get cancelled. But I think I don't know why we have this permission. And I'm being honest, I've started to kind of, in this event, my girlfriend was like, I'm glad you said something. And a few other women on the sly said this to me as well. They're glad I said something. But I was the only man in this event. And there was a lot of misandry in the room. And being misogynistic is wrong, but at least we call it out and say we won't stand for this. We don't do that for misandry. We let women say publicly, yeah, all men are trash or men aren't good enough. And you know what? Enough is enough. Because the irony is the same women who will say that are the ones that if the right guy came along, she would embrace it.
Such a difficult conversation. And again, I think a lot of work needs to be done there.
For sure.
I will say this. I think slander against both is not appropriate at all.
I agree.
I think gone are the days where it's a fight against each other. I think that needs to stop, and we need to start trying to understand each other better. I think it comes from a place of being treated badly is what I would say. I think as women, we go through a lot. So do men, I know.
I'm not disputing that.
But I think it comes from a place of hurt. Like some of the things that were said there, I actually agree with. Like in the sense of like, let me not get into it. But
that's all right.
I think
you're allowed to disagree. Tell me what you think.
Yeah. I just think it's a difficult conversation to have. I think if we carry on this way, if he said, she said, it won't end in a good way. I just think like everyone just needs to.
But what I would say though is that, and I agree with you. So we have to hold both sides accountable.
Yeah,
so
again.
As men, we have to hold other men accountable who are either choosing women for the wrong reasons or validating behaviors in women that we wouldn't choose as wives. So if we can't sit here and say, oh, I wouldn't, I wouldn't date or marry a woman who posts herself sexually provocative online, but we're like liking all her thirst trap photos.
Thank you.
Right? So we have to hold ourselves to that standard.
accountable. Yeah.
100%. But also women have to as well.
Yeah. And
you have
again,
to be like, hey, ladies, I actually want a really good man.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and all men are not trash. So stop saying that because you're going to turn them off us.
Yes. I do agree.
This is why the whole Jezebel came from. You know where that comes from?
I do agree with that concept.
Sure.
But I also think there's something there about we are allowed to express our pain.
You are, but you
in
can't
a healthy
say,
way. In a healthy way.
Of course. There's nothing wrong with saying I had this bad experience.
Yeah.
But I don't.
And again,
go on.
It's unfortunately we live in an attention society.
Attention economy, yeah.
So unfortunately the stuff that does views is.
But do you know what the irony is?
So you've got to think these people are making money. It's not
sure.
like.
I mean, listen. If you do, when you're 80 years old, you're like, thank God I made so much money in my 30s, kind of complaining about men. If that's what you want, good for you. Well done. Well done. And that's no shame. If that's the path you want, absolutely fine.
Yeah, I can't lie. I was like that too. I'll own it and say, like, when I started the whole dating stuff, that's how I was, because it came from a place of hurt. Right?
I understand that, but
and it came. I've grew now as as an adult, and now I see differently. You know, I think that we have to allow people to go through that journey too.
Okay,
does that make sense?
There's nothing wrong with
someone can express themselves and say this is her article. At the end of the day, she can express what she wants to express.
Of course,
if that's where
freedom of speech.
Yeah, but who are we to say her opinions are wrong?
Well, your original point was you feel that there's a very adversarial relationship between men and women. And what I'm saying is we not only do we encourage, but we promote the female side of being adversarial towards men. And that doesn't serve the women. And it also doesn't serve relationships. Because the irony is, let me ask you a question. The really good quality masculine man, right, who you would want to be with, do you think he would look at content and posts from a woman who's basically trashing men and be like, I really want her?
Obviously not.
That's my point.
Duh. But it's just the way the world is. Like, unfortunately, if we lived in a world where we all said the same thing and agreed with the same things, it would be boring. I just think it's unhealthy how it's being seen on social media. It's very harmful. Like, it's such harmful content.
I agree. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with expressing, I had this bad experience. But you're not saying that, oh, this is all men. Because the irony is this: if you genuinely believed all men were trash, you would not want a relationship.
No.
Because you want a relationship with a man, I assume.
No, I've never said that. But all men aren't actually trash. You know.
Sure.
I've also said that. Like, you know, I will actually advocate for the good men out there, the good dads out there, because again, I say this all the time. We don't see enough of single dads doing it out there on their own. We don't see enough of the good men that are out there. Unfortunately,
it's not promoted.
It's not. And
it's
that's
there.
I wish there was like a massive push. Let's push those relationships.
Like one
there.
thing, this is
and I'm telling you, things would change. But unfortunately, the algorithms love trauma, pain, hurt. That's what they love.
I understand because you know, people love being a victim. I understand that. I'm not saying that previous hurt and experience isn't valid, and expressing that there's nothing wrong with that. But if you saw a man basically saying every woman is a gold digger, everyone just wants to use you, it's, you know, she's not yours, it's just your turn. What impression does that give you of him?
Not a great impression.
Well, tell me, what does it tell you about him in your opinion?
I think he sounds very hurt.
Sure.
Sounds like he's had a bad experience. Sounds like he's venting, but in the wrong way. It sounds like he needs to do some really healthy work.
Sure, that just tells me he chose women for the wrong reasons. Because there are good women out there who are not like that, but you chose for the wrong reason. Probably because she had a fat ass. Probably because she was getting a lot of attention. Probably because, you know, you were leading heavily with the sexual side of things. And it's like, if you're going to choose women for those reasons, that's what you're going to get. And so I'm being honest especially, because the thing is, I feel like part of the reason why I do this as well, and I know I'm not afraid to say it very directly, right? Because I generally believe it's going to help. A lot of my circles are the kind of men that every woman wants. And so I'm basically...
what a statement.
I'm just being honest.
You want them
right?
too?
Listen, like, but what I mean, I'm saying like who just tick those boxes, right? Just like successful guys got their stuff going on. They're not very loud. They live their lives. They're doing their thing. So I'm sharing with you the conversations that happen in those circles that women will never hear, because all a woman will get is he didn't commit seriously to me, and then he committed this to this other girl, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you what they're not going to tell you, right? And all that says to that kind of guy is that this woman chooses badly. And because she's saying that all men are trash, she refuses to take accountability. Now, accountability in a relationship is huge. Vital. It's one of the things men look for deeply. Like, if a guy goes on a date with a woman and she's saying that every guy she's dated is a narcissist, immediately she's like, cool, like this girl's a write-off. Because she refuses to take accountability, even if it's for her choices in men. I was choosing men for the wrong reason. I was choosing for reasons actually that didn't serve the relationship long term.
Yeah.
And guys do this too.
I was gonna
when
say.
guys are like just choosing women for surface level stuff, and then they complain because this woman went off with a rapper, or they complain because, you know, this woman got flown out by some other rich guy. I'm like, bro, look what you were choosing. What do you expect? Meanwhile, my girl over here, who's always liked you, who's always been there for you, who's always been, you know, the person in your corner. Why are you not choosing for those qualities?
So what do we need to do?
Who, men or women?
Both. Because I feel like we can say all this stuff.
True.
And we can be like this. But what needs to be done? Because I think all of us as creators in the dating space, we're always talking about similar conversations, but there's never what do we need to do? What's the action? What's the solution? Because we could all have podcasts about love and dating forever.
Absolutely.
But again, the action needs to be done. And I think this is where until something's done, nothing will change.
I hear you. So, okay. So my remedy for men is stop. Choose the women you would want your daughter to become.
Oh, I like that. And
if you're looking at how a woman is moving, and thing is, don't try and change her. If you look at how a woman is moving, how she is as a woman, and you go, that's the kind of woman I want my daughter to be, that's the woman you invest in.
Oh, I like that.
The woman who may tantalize your sexual appetite, but how she moves isn't the kind of woman you want your daughter to become. If you're going to entertain that, make sure you wrap up. Because if you get the wrong woman pregnant, that's you for life.
Contraception is key.
Right? That's what I'd say. So you have to protect your own, you have to protect yourself in that way. For women, honestly, for women, I would say ideally both of these things, but if not at least one. Have a man in your life who doesn't want to sleep with you, who can help you vet a man.
Yeah.
So who loves you, but when you go to him, he will tell you the truth. And I think this is actually really hard for women because, especially if you're an attractive woman, most men outside of your family want to sleep with you. Or they would. So they're going to lie to you. So have a man in your life you know doesn't want to sleep with you, that you can ask about men. Because he loves you, he will tell you the truth, even what you don't want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. Second thing I would say is, yeah, go on.
Can I just raise my hand there?
Yeah, go for it.
I think there's also something there about being careful of the man that you choose to help you with that.
Sure.
In the sense of like, a lot of people will keep you from the right partner.
That is true.
Because of their beliefs as well. Does that make sense? So you really have to be on the same page with that person. You really have to vet them that there's no underlying attraction.
Yes.
Because if you trust that person, he could easily stop you from finding your future husband.
I agree. And I'd kind of say the other person I'd say is to have a woman in your life who has the outcomes that you want and ask her for advice.
Yeah.
So have a woman, or look at a woman who goes, she has the kind of man that I'm looking for. That's who you ask for advice. And ideally, the man that you ask for advice is ideally the kind of man you go, I would like to end up with a man like him.
Yeah, and I think I also would add, have a person in your life, like a wise elder. Here, be careful on who it is.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of my really good friends, Karen, the other day, and she was like, you really have to have a mature perspective on on who you choose as well, because that will give you insight as well into choosing a partner.
I agree. Then my last thing, controversial, but only because I've seen other women have very transformative perspective shifts that have really helped them. Watch red pill content.
Oh,
Hear me out.
what?
Hear me out. It will give you an insight into the male psychology. It will give you an insight into what men select for, what men are defending against, but also what has them give you the keys to the castle. The reason I say that is because while there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be it's not going to be nice for the pride and ego, 100%.
Very traumatizing as well.
Fine. If you can get through that, you'll understand men like most women won't, because most women are in echo chambers. Most men are echo chambers. But especially because men talk very frankly with each other. So like guys in general, they'll be like, bro, of course she didn't want you because you're lacking X, Y, Z. We're very direct with that. Or watch this podcast.
I do not agree with
That's
watching
all right.
red pill content. I think there's other ways to find that information out.
I agree.
I just think, do not traumatize yourself doing that as a woman.
I think it depends who you watch.
Yeah. I think it can do two ways.
Yeah.
It can lower someone's self-esteem very quickly. And
that's why it depends who you watch.
Yeah.
Maybe red pill's the wrong
term.
There are a couple people I would suggest watching that is very good for that. But I mean,
so your prescription is red pill content?
No, I wouldn't, because like I think a lot of it has become quite extreme in women bashing.
Exactly.
But
so
there are
why are we sending women there?
Well, because kind of like you kind of like the drizzle content. There's some stuff there for women that actually really works, but there's a lot of extreme actors, is what I'm saying.
Or they can watch people like you that can digest it and then give them the
that's what
content.
I said. Watch this podcast.
Because I think that would be a healthier way of doing it.
I would say that. We're gonna wrap it there.
Yeah.
Wrap it there, Yolanda. But listen, really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you for
sharing
me.
your energy. If people want to follow you and find you, where can they find you?
Across all platforms, it's simply _Yolanda. Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Anything coming up that people can look out for?
Yeah, there's a lot coming up. Gonna be another dating show again. Yay.
Nice. Okay. Can you tell us what?
No, not yet.
Fairs.
But loads. Hopefully I'll find my man eventually.
I hear you.
Yeah.
We're here for you, girl. We're
Thank
here for you. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. Guys, thank you for watching. Go give Yolanda a follow, a like, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode.